Well, we're back with Jill related to smog, California emissions, air-cooled Vanagon, and not getting through the smog test because of a evaporative leak in the system. So when they put pressure on the fuel system, and I think it's pretty low pressure. I don't think it's a lot of pressure, but when they put pressure on the fuel system, my mechanic that's doing my smog, which it's not just a smog station, he's an actual great mechanic. As far as I know, used to work for Nilo Porsche in Sacramento, so he's familiar with my type of Porsche, which is nice. They didn't retest the cap just because they kind of weren't really in testing mode. They were just going to see if I was able to fix the evap leak with what I did. I'm just trying to see if there's a way. You know, I'm looking at this and it could be leaking here still. It's not really flat right there. I assume that it's around that thing, but and then the next thing that I'm going to do is take off this tank, because on the top of the tank is where those valves are. I want to see if those valves are any good or not. So that's kind of the next thing that I'm looking at doing. Let's see if I can set you up so you can kind of see what's going on. I know I talk under my breath quite a bit. Sorry about that. I just, you know, I'm thinking while I'm working, and sometimes it comes out pretty soft. To get that down, I might have to take this tube out. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. Go grab some tools and I'll come back and get you started again. Okay, I'm back. Got this jacked up. Jack stand in place. Safety first. Let me get this wheel off. It'll give me more access in here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, shaky, shaky. California earthquake. This big fat tire out of the way. All right. I think I have a little bit better view of what's going on in here. Might as well check the brakes while we're at it. Got good thick brake pads on there. Those look pretty clean. Brake lines look good. The springy things look good. Everything's in there tight. Bushings still look decent on everything. All right. So now we're going to start working up there. Okay, so my mechanic told me that it was definitely coming from this area. So what we're going to do is kind of pull all this stuff off, clean it up, make sure everything's looking good. Got about a half a tank of fuel, so I'm going to try not to take the main hose off, but I think if I loosen this up again, it will allow me to get that tank out, and I can kind of see how things are looking on the tank. So let's do that first. So this is a little bent. I don't know if you can see that. So we're going to straighten that out for sure, because I want to make sure that's not why this seal's not going well. The other thing you can kind of see here is that this seal has kind of a little rubber thing around it. We're gonna clean that up real good. I have a new piece ordered, but I don't know what time how long it's gonna take to get here. So I'd like to have this fixed today or tomorrow at the latest. This is my daily driver, and I need to drive it. Okay. Let's put it that way. We'll clean this up real good. Although I do have 2 of these on order, so which is let's see if this will happen. Aha! Look at that. That is my problem right there. That was easy. So it's probably not the rubber seal. It's this. That was just completely popped off. So I need to get these rubber seals for this. And I don't know where I can get those. I know where I can get the valves, but I don't know where I can get the rubber seals. So we might have to try to clean this up with some RTV. Huh. Well, that is good to know. That's my problem. Oh, look at that. Part of the seal actually broke off inside. Okay. Okay. Well, that's definitely going to need to get cleaned off. I bet you the other side's doing the same thing. Ah, look at that. There's a part number. All right. Well, I'm going to pause. We're going to try and order a couple of those parts and see if that does the trick. Well, I found the part. Nobody locally had it, which, you know, that's kind of normal. Sometimes I get local parts from Burley Motorsports, and then a lot of times I'll get local parts from Wolfgang International. So shout out to both those guys, Burley and Steve. Appreciate you guys when you do have the parts. I ended up finding these at Bus Lab. So this is the grommet. Goes on top of that expansion tank or rollover tank, whatever you want to call it. It's completely eaten away there. You can see the grommet just ate itself off. So what I'm going to do now is kind of clean off this expansion tank. I'm going to pull the other one off too, just because it's probably done the same thing. And I don't want to have to keep going back to my smog place to keep getting smog stuff done. So hopefully it won't take Bus Lab too long to get it up to me. I did priority mail, and they're just in Berkeley, which is literally 200 miles away from me. So hopefully they'll be able to get it up to me pretty quickly. In the meantime, I think I'm just going to put this back together so I can keep driving this thing, and I'll just smog it next week once we get the parts and take it apart again and do the fix. Okay, since we got the power sprayer out, we might as well pull this one off too and just see what the top of that one looks like. I'm ordering 4 of those grommets, 2 for Jill, 2 for Jack, when I eventually get around to putting Jack's fuel system in. And so I figure I might as well just take care of this now, do it all, and we'll check the brakes on this guy too. Notice I got my jack stand here. It's important. important piece of safety. Just in case you couldn't see that other one very well. Let's get you out. Let's do a quick brake check. Brake pads look good on this side. Looking good. Brake line looks good. Let's see, all of our bushings up here look decent. Jill only has 98,000 miles. Not too bad. Let's see, bushings in there look okay. All right, let's get to it. Let's see, I think we had to kind of pry this from any other pry bar besides this thing, which this technically isn't a pry bar. We don't want to break these because they are $50 each. There we go, it's coming. There we go. It's almost off of there. Okay, a little bit of dust, a little bit of dirt and dust, and look at that. Also, oh, yep. Also fell right off. Okay. Well, we know, at least we know that was the actual problem, right? Was the actual problem, and I do smell some serious gasoline right now. Whew! Serious gasoline ventilation. Okay, got those off. Whoo-wee! That is a smelling like a felon. We're gonna pull this off. Clean it up just a little bit at least. Oh, that is gooey. That was ready to come off. Okay. Let's go clean up this thing. Well, that piece was actually so gooey that I had to take the gloves off because it was just goo. Anyway, this one's kind of cleaned up. I'm going to blow some air into it, dry it out, and then we'll put it back on. That seal is so gooey, I don't think I want to put it back on. I think I'm just going to put it across the top and tape it on there until I get my new seal, because that thing is just nasty. So I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to pause you for just a minute, do some cleanup on that with some acetone, and then we'll put you back on record for the final few minutes of this one. Okay, so I cleaned that up, but I'm going to stick this back on here because I don't want it to get dirty. So let's get as much of this water out of here as possible. Okay, and we're going to put that on top here. We're going to have to clean this again because it is just a gooey, nasty mess. If it tape this on here to try and keep this from getting dirty. I don't know if that'll even work, but we'll try it. At least we found our problem, right? That's the key thing. Knowing that this thing has to be smogged. One of the things you'll hear from most VW Vanagon owners is to change your fuel lines, right? And that was one of the first things that I did on this vehicle. Changing the fuel lines. And so all these fuel lines are new, got the great clamps on them, but I did not do those seals on top of the evaporative rollover tanks. We ordered them and I'm gonna get them fixed. Ordered them from Bus Lab, if I didn't tell you that already, and they should be here in just maybe a few days, and we'll finish this job up. Thanks for joining me. Epic journey, Mr. Smith Garage, California emissions, smog, failure number 2. Found the problem, the culprit. I hope it's the rollover valves, whatever you want to call them. All right, thanks for joining me. Bye.